So here we are. I just I was on my paddleboard from Bangor, Belfast Lough to Dublin. That was the challenge. And I just stopped to do another challenge fundraiser for a friend along the north coast. And I was back paddleboarding down the east coast again. So it was an unexpected little sort of diversion in the middle of my 100-mile paddle. And so here we are on the map. You can see Strangford Lough. That was the last thing I did, the crossing of Strangford Lough. So that was huge relief to get that done because I'd heard so many horror stories about how dangerous it is here, crossing here. These currents are some of the strongest currents in the world, actually coming from out of Strangford Lough, and making this very tricky and dangerous. Most sailors would just say it's, crazy to try and cross this. So I was very relieved to have that done and very keen to get on my way back down the coast now towards Dublin, get the next bit done. Here I am fundraising for the RNLI. I'd raised just under £2,000 at this point for the RNLI as well as the other fundraisers. And I'd got some really nice publicity, paddle boarding and doing my yoga. It's getting a little bit of interest. Here we are, Jenny's back in the paddle. Solo Bangor Dublin trip, yoga teacher. So it was great. That was very nice to get Sunday World. Here's another one, 50-year-old. They always tell you the age on the top, which is quite embarrassing. This newspaper article, Brave Mum circumnavigates Ireland solo on a paddleboard. Anyway, at this point, there's just a few pictures that was the Strangford crossing. That was the Belfast Lough crossing, and that's then the north coast. So that was very nice to get some publicity to help with my fundraising and everything. So here we are, Strangford Lough. So very keen to get going again. This time we got a little Airbnb on in Portaferry, just on the water, and my new challenge now was to try and get out of Strangford Lough and make my way slowly down the coast. Now, unfortunately, I booked the Airbnb and then this was the weather forecast. This was actually on an app called Magic Seaweed, which shows you like the surf as well, like 23-foot waves. And 23-foot, 16 to 26 foot. This is the swell and the surf. And then look at the wind. It's when it's showing red, it's usually way too dangerous for paddleboarding. 50 miles an hour, 65 nautical miles. It was a massive storm. I remember actually my mum, who's never been too fussed with me doing all of this, was like, well, there'll be not much paddleboarding done this weekend. But I strapped that board on the car and I was determined to, if obviously only if it's safe. I was really disappointed. I thought I'm bringing my paddleboard. Well, let's see what happens. So this is the drive down to Strangford. This is Strangford Lough on one side here, and this is heading down the the Ards Peninsula. And look at the weather. You can see the waves. This is Strangford Lough here, which is normally sheltered and quite calm, and the waves are literally crossing the road. It's a bit further on down here. Not really a good sign. Anyway, look, that was in one of the articles about the weather that weekend. Careful walking your dogs today. It's very windy out there. And, I was very nervous because I'd heard about these Strangford Lough whirlpools. Look, and that's not too far from the coast. Look, you can see the trees and everything over here. Big whirlpool, and there's lots on YouTube. You can see some of these whirlpools and things, which definitely made me quite nervous. But anyway, thankfully, here I am. We just arrived at Portaferry where we were staying in a little Airbnb across the road there, and it looks quite nice. You can hear the wind. And that's Strangford. That's where the ferry crossing is. That's where I crossed the last time. But I'd already done that bit, so we had to, leave all our stuff in the Airbnb and head across to, this is the Strangford side. This is the ferry, so I had to get the ferry across. Been back and forth on this ferry now a few times. That's Portaferry over here. This was the crossing I did. It's called the Narrows, and just sort of reminiscing on that. Remember there was some currents in around here when I was paddling across there, and the ferry landing, and then we drove round to Kilcleef. So Kilcleef is basically as we're just coming out of Strangford, and I checked the weather and there was a little lull in the wind. Now, I did call the Coast Guard and I was quite expecting them to say, "Are you crazy?" Because actually that weekend they had been warning people not to go to the coast and to stay away from the coastline. So, I mean, I had studied the weather and I did see this little where the wind had dipped down. And you can see there, now this is a nice bay. A lot of people swim here. It's very sheltered. So that looked quite flat and calm and promising. And I called them up and thankfully the Coast Guard didn't think I was totally bonkers. So I did no, I didn't really get very far, but this is the map here. And I was just slowly making my way out of here, and it's Ballyhornan. There I am with the paddleboard, just getting ready to go in. A bit nervous. Richard. And so then they were in the car and they drove on down to Ardglass to pick me up. So I actually got a wee bit done. This is the harbour here, the shops. And again, it's quite sheltered in here. It was sheltered in here, but it was starting to get a bit stormy out in the sea, so I didn't go too far. But just, sometimes just feels good to chip away and get a little bit of progress. So this is Ballyhornan Bay, again sheltered, so it was fine in the bays. So really just doing short trips. There I am heading out. Jack and Richard watching me. I think this is where we were staying. And that was our Airbnb. It was very nice, actually. We had a great time there. It was a beautiful Airbnb, and actually had a hot tub, which was a highlight and very nice after all the paddleboarding. This is the view from where we're staying. I always like to stay somewhere really close to the water so I can just really keep an eye on the sea. Pictures inside. They had a lovely theme. I think this is here. I was talking about a course I was doing with my friend Ailish at the time about yoga and the power of the mind, manifesting. Definitely find all the yoga and meditation and visualization and everything just very helpful for this sort of thing because it keeps me calm and focused. So here we are. Just behind me is Strangford. Well, it's a good bit behind. I've just passed Glass, and I'm just about to come into Killock. So I'm delighted. You can't really see this, but on the other side of me over there, I can actually just see there's a lighthouse and then it's the Mourns. So that's Strangford, now down to the Mourns, if you can see. So we're really glad, really hot and really sweaty. Who would have thought in the middle of the storm there'd be a couple of flat days that I could get out. So anyway, hope everyone's still doing some fundraising as well for the RNLI. Thank you. Bye. So yes, it was a relief, and I'm just so pleased. That's it. You can just never tell with the weather. Usually you'll get the storms and the wind will pick up, and then there'll be a lull. So there, I'm very sweaty, but really glad to have Strangford now behind me because that had been a bit of a stress for me. I was really worried about it, and it was just really lovely to now see the Mourne Mountains in the distance. It's like I felt like a new chapter coming up. This is St. John's Point and the lighthouse here. I think this is the same videos. I'm in the middle of the sea, back up there. So, and this was me paddling in. I think this is Killock, and it was very scenic. I remember saying to Richard, "So where are you? You know, I'm trying to figure out where the harbour wall is." And I think that's it down there. Anyway, and he's, Richard will be like, "Can you not see me? I'm standing on a wall waving." And I'm like, "I can't, no, there's not a chance I can see you there." So sometimes I've got to paddle in for a while. Sometimes it's not, it just takes a minute to figure out how to get into these places. But anyway, it was nice and calm and flat then, as you can see. And there's like quite an old remains of a castle here. This is Killock. Jack obviously loved this. Loves castles and things like that. And like it was lovely and sheltered once we got in. So that was the good thing about this trip. There was a few wee shelter spots. Yeah, and I'd arranged to meet my mum was coming down to Portaferry and we're going to the aquarium. And typically the time we'd organized to meet was the best time for paddleboarding, so it's very hard sometimes when I'm doing these trips to organize seeing people, even because you really don't know what the weather conditions are going to be until the day of or the day before. And you mean it's just so important to be out when the sea is calm. And so this is a seahorse here. This is the aquarium. This looks like a pregnant seahorse. I think that's the men that carry the babies. It's a great aquarium anyway. The kids love it, and I love this picture of the stingray. You get to see its little face underneath, looking out, and the little fish. Here are the seahorses again, and the seals, and they rescue a lot of seals here as well, which is wonderful. So anyway, here we are back. This was the plan, Bangor. So let's not get too excited. I just did Strangford. I'd crossed there and I was now making my way down to here. Oh yeah, here are the Mourne Mountains. So this is St. John's Point, I think there. I'm just heading in towards Newcastle now, which is very exciting. Cheers to that. So this is a wee Airbnb. That's the Mourne Mountains behind, and this is Dundrum Bay, which was gorgeous. Really sheltered. Now it's quite tidal, as you can see the mud sand area here. And got a wee balcony. We've got lovely weather. This must have been around May time. And the sun is out, lovely sunset, and a little barbecue. And it was just so nice to get this far down the coast now, Newcastle in front. And maybe that's cherry trees in May. This is where I was paddling out from. See the beach there. Looks nice. Jack in his wee car seat. So yeah, we paddling, but I think that's where I'd left off. That's where I'd left off. So I had to paddle back from there again down to Dundrum. So that was Killock. And usually I try to stop at one point and start exactly there. But it just depends though, sometimes on the wind direction. You know, I'll have a stretch that I want to do each day. And depending on the wind, I'll either go from, start one end to the other, or if it's crazy and it's more better to do it the other direction, sometimes I'll do it that way. But I always, try to join all the dots and start at where I left off the last time. So this is the Killock back there again. Here we go. Hi, so here I am at Killock. This is where I left off about a month ago, and I paddled out of Strangford and got as far as here. So today I'm planning on paddling from Killock along the coast to Dundrum. So I have to time it a little bit today because it passes the Ballykilder shooting firing range. I obviously don't want to get shot, so I think after 12:30, I was advised by the Coast Guard that it would be safe to pass. So good to know these things. So getting ready to head off. Very excited. This has to be actually the nicest day that I've ever had on any of my long distance paddling. And so I actually have some sunblock on today. It's flat, it's calm, it looks really perfect. So I am very excited to get going. Anyway, thank you. Sponsor me, please. All proceeds for the RNLI. Thanks again. Bye. Yeah, so that morning, actually, I had originally planned on just paddling out of the bay where I'm staying and back up to Killock where I'd finished last time. And I was just putting the sunblock on, thinking how perfect the conditions were. And then I called the Coast Guard in Bangor, and it was actually my good friend Richard Wasson who answered the phone, and we had a bit of a chat. And then I said to him, "Oh, yes, actually, isn't there a firing range or something around here? Because I'd seen it on my um, nautical maps." And he's like, "Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, no, you can't go in there." Because we were literally staying right where the firing range is, Dundrum Bay. So they shoot some of the, it can be careful that the bullets don't go flying out into the sea. Um, so I ended up doing this route instead. So paddling down from Killock into Dundrum Bay where I was staying, because by then the firing would have been finished. This is me out in the water and some of the cows and this is going around St. John's Point and the lighthouse. You can see the mountains in the distance, out in the water. Beautiful day today. I am now passing Torella Beach, is just over here. And the mountains of Mourne are over there. I don't know if you can see those. Long gone is Strangford Lough. So paddling along here, there's a few seals have just popped up. There's one over there. So cute. Anyway, a bit of company. It's a beautiful day. Sun's out. Sun factor's on. Sponsor me, RNLI, and just giving. Thank you. So I think there's a little seal back there. It was a lovely day and it was so flat and calm. There's a wee seal out there. Seals are all curious, popping up, and lovely and calm. I always gather up litter when paddling. Not that there was very much, but I just can't paddle past it without gathering up. So this is some of my gatherings that day. But look at the sea, it's lovely. And you're on also as you're paddling around the coast, there's all these migrating birds that are paddling, not paddling, they're flying along the coastline. So they come along really fast. So I do try and capture them sometimes, photos and videos, but literally you see them coming, and then by the time you've fumbled around and got your camera out and ready, it's usually too late because they come along really fast. But anyway, isn't that gorgeous? Mountains of Mourne. This is coming in towards Dundrum Bay. And there's the seals. Watching on the sand. Disturb them. Sometimes it can be a little bit nerve-wracking seeing so many seals because you just don't know. As long as there's no seal pups around, they tend to be okay. You just have to be very careful that you don't actually ever unknowingly maybe paddle between the adult pups and adult seals and the pups, because then they will get a bit annoyed if there's babies around. They'll come and they kind of shoo you away. Sometimes you'll get them slapping their tails on the, which is yeah, but these ones weren't doing any of that. They were all very nice. There they are again, and the lot of seals along coming into Dundrum Bay. It was quite slow coming into Dundrum Bay because I was actually ended up paddling against the current. And again, a paddleboard, there's just a very small volume under the water, so you don't get affected so much. Because I remember meeting somebody and he was like, "You paddled in at what time?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he said, "You're paddling against the current, like that's nearly impossible because the currents are so strong." But on a paddleboard, I think it's not like a hull of a ship or a boat that's really where your whole body, like a swimmer, your whole body would be in the water. You're really sort of sliding along the surface. There's a few seals watching me. So glad to get into Dundrum. Yeah. And this is it into Dundrum here, which is, we were just staying in one of these, lots of apartments here. And that was, so it was really nice. I think they were actually in the apartment watching me coming in. It's always great if you can find somewhere to stay that's right on the sea. And there's the sun sparkling off the water. And this was, I think I went back out that day because it was a good one. And was paddling from Dundrum on down the coast to Newcastle. Anyway, this is inside the wee Airbnb. It's lovely, like right on the sea. Very nice. A few people out in their boats. That's all my gear, my stuff for paddleboarding. And if you can see here, Dundrum Bay is here. So that's us in around here. I've just done their St. John's Point back there. And we're coming down now to the Mourne Mountains. Slieve Donard Hotel is in and around here there. And let's see, submarine exercise area. It was definitely somewhere around here where you could see the shooting range as well. There, you just have to be careful. And this was in the bay, and I paddled on a little bit further from the house Airbnb down to, it's just coming into Newcastle. Lovely picnic area. It was lovely weather with shorts and stuff on. Lots of nice walks around here. This is a bit of Jack's artwork collecting from the beach. He'll do this for school. There it is. Isn't that nice? I think that's pretty good. And we didn't help him at all. We just gathered up the stuff and he built it himself. Anyway, here I am. I think you may have already seen the herd. It's flat, it's calm, it looks really perfect. So I am very excited to get going. Anyway, thank you. Sponsor me, please. All proceeds for the RNLI. Thanks again. Bye. So, so you can see, so it's quite tidal. That was me heading back out. Hi there. Literally waited all day. It's now 4 o'clock and the firing range flags are down, so it's actually safe to get in. So I'm Ballykilner and heading to Newcastle today. Hopefully nice little easy jaunt. Should just take me about an hour. Anyway, wish me luck. Bye. And sponsor me as well, RNLI. Thank you. Bye. That was the only thing. It was, they do most of the shooting apparently at the weekends on Saturday and Sunday, and you don't really know when they're going to finish. So it was like, you have to be quite patient sitting, waiting all day till they get done. So 4 o'clock is quite late, although, you know, this time of the year, in Ireland, it's light till maybe like 11 o'clock, so 4:30 is not the end of the world. And I'd probably enjoyed the rest because I think I'd done a lot of paddling the day before. That is the shooting range there, so I have to paddle out past that. And they normally have flags up, and there's they have you can hear someone on a loudspeaker, warning everyone that you can't paddle out. And if anybody does come out there, that they really shout at you. And it was just very scenic coming out of here. Oh, here we go. Here's some birds. Is it geese? Quite amazing. How they're so coordinated and, with their migratory route. There's more. So, not sure if you can see. Oh, yes, just down here. This is Sleep Donard Hotel coming up. They look beautiful. There's more. And I try not to stop too much to take photos and things, but it was just spectacular. It was so beautiful. That's the Sleeve Donard. And this was me coming in Newcastle. Found a little slipway here just before the Mourne Mountains, really. And there's a few, you can see there's a few people out paddleboarding. This is the Mourne Mountains. This was another day coming out of the slipway, I think, leaving here. These are the mountains. I was a little bit nervous because as you're going around the side of the mountain, there's not too many places that you can get out if you're stuck. So there's the Sleeve Donard Hotel there. Beautiful. And this Newcastle coastline from here from the sea. It's lovely weather. And that was me leaving slipway, I think, in this one. Starting to head round. Coast there, yeah, there I'm heading out. Little dot in the sea. Oh, that's me out of order. That's me just heading out. So nice to be heading off with, that's my backpack with my provisions, like food and things, shorts and t-shirt on. It's always nice. So, oh, I think we've seen this one before. Anyway, this is, oh yes, we've passed this. That's Strangford, and on down here, we've gone past that map. All right. So this is me now coming up to Carlingford Lough. I think that's where I am now, and the Carlingford Lough crossing. Hi there. Just crossed Carlingford Lough, so that's officially all the locks in Northern Ireland I've crossed. I'm really glad to have done it. I just crossed the narrow part here at Warren Point, um, and such a relief. Although there was no tide in it, so it's quite mucky getting in and out. But yay, done! So happy that's finished. Next part is onwards to Dublin. Please sponsor me. All proceeds going to RNLI. Thank you. Bye. So I was quite nervous about this crossing, but it was actually totally fine. And the currents didn't seem too strong. I timed it as best I could. And it was fine. This is Carlingford. See, Carlingford Lock Crossing. It was quite marshy getting out. That was the only thing. And there we are, relieved. Beautiful scenery. Just listen to that. And this was just one of the little cafes. Actually, this was where we were staying. Um, we were staying in Warren Point, and I was paddling. This is a caravan park, near a caravan park that I was paddling from, but I needed to. This is quite close to. These guys are so good. Not always nice weather. These guys. This was me getting close to the boat. I'd finished Northern Ireland. Now the day when I was doing the coming up to the border here for Carlingford, the weekend we were staying there, I did the crossing first for Carlingford, and then I had to paddle back to sort of around Long and by the Slieve Donard, Newcastle kind of area, which was the last part, but that would have been all of Northern Ireland done. So, but for this leg, the Carlingford Lough crossing was quite nice that day, but the next day when I was doing this, as you can see, it was grey, rainy, choppy. This was coming along the coastline here. Not very scenic at all. So I think this was Long. So I had to paddle from Carlingford to Long, and then that was all of Northern Ireland finished. This was me coming out, and you know what? I was exhausted. It was a really tough, challenging day, although it was a massive achievement to have done all of Northern Ireland now. But Richard helping me. He's all smiles. Richard helped me carrying the board. Here I am, just coming along. Let's see how rough it was today. I'm totally wrecked. Borderline white troughs, pretty much white troughs. Anyway, it's all finished. Here I am. I've done it the whole of the North Coast. The Northern Ireland, I can't even speak. Finished Northern Ireland, which is amazing. I'm delighted. I'm so wrecked now. Anyway, this one's for me. This is with RNLI. And you can hear the wind, and you can see the sea actually, whenever you're filming it, it tends to flatten it out a bit. So, like in reality, it would have been probably worse than what it looks like. And I think that day I was probably paddling against the wind for quite a large part of it. So it was great to finish. I've done, all of Northern Ireland, but um, that was really tiring. It was a real push. Anyway, and this is where we're staying in Warren Point. And this is the cherry blossom trees. So I think that weekend the weather wasn't great. It was anyway. So this was now I had to paddle back to Carlingford, and this was um this was Dundalk Bay. So Blackrock. So I was starting from here because whatever direction the wind was. Instead of leaving from Carlingford and paddling to Dundalk, I was doing it the other way round. Um, just generally that happens because of the wind. Anyway, parked up here. Now, look, that looks quite nice. Here we are, Dundalk, Blackrock Beach. A little foggy today, but still, which is great. Kind of tired after yesterday. Richard's helped me carry the board, and that's my safety team. I had to call the Dublin Coast Guard today because I'm south of the border now. Anyway, excited to get this done. There's Carlingford in the distance. That's where I'm headed. Bye. Wish you luck. Yes, so this was my first time. For all of the previous paddling, it had been Bangor Coast Guard. So this was the first time calling Dublin Coast Guard. I think when I told them what I was doing is like, "Are you mad?" It was, I think, the first reaction, the first conversation from the Dublin. Probably am mad. Anyway, they were very nice too, and all the Coast Guards have been lovely. So I'd called them, and then I was heading back. You can see over here, this is sort of like back towards Carlingford area. Might have even been around there. I think I had to paddle around to that point. So here I am setting off. Thankfully, it's flat and calm. I was quite wrecked from the day before, all my provisions. And yeah, this was what it looked like further out into the sea. It's me sweating. I think I'm sweating. It's hard to know what to wear sometimes because it can be cold, but when you're paddling, you're really generating a lot of heat. So this is me heading back. This is coming up towards Carlingford again. Oh, there's more birds. And you can see when it and this it's very quiet out there. There's not really any other boats or anything. You might see some fishing boats. This is Carlingford Lough. So this was me coming in around here, and there's my on land support. So I was trying to find out where they were, where they could help me carry the board in. And there, finally spotted them and was able to paddle in, and they helped me get the board back up to the car. Here I am coming in, taking some photos of them. And there's Richard. Because my arms are dead by the time I get there. Like it's 4 or 5 hours, usually at least, of paddling, and my arms are ready to fall off. And this is the little road. This is kind of the entrance of Carlingford Lough here. Jack found a wee dog that he liked. Having a drink. And the nice cows. We're camping. Oh yes, so this is coming into Carlingford itself, which was beautiful. Very picturesque. Trying to smile, but my arms are so tired probably. And yeah, we were staying in Warren Point, so we did a little bit of exploring around. Very picturesque. Looks lovely and calm. And this is Carlingford town itself. Lots of nice wee pubs and shops, cafes, really old buildings. Some little parks to explore. And then we were getting the ferry. This was the ferry, I think Greenore, we were took the ferry across back to Warren Point rather than driving. You can see there's the markers where the boats would come in and out. This is us on the ferry, I think. Oh, this is where we were staying. We Airbnb in Warren Point, which was very nice and very comfortable. This was park beside us. Oh, that's that slip by again. Oh, Pete's here. Okay, and then the next time we came to visit, we actually stayed here. This was like a special treat for me and my online support. We got a little Airbnb in this is called Narrow Waters Castle. We were up in here and sweet cat that we saw, but they'd done a beautiful job restoring these apartments really in here in the castle. And they had a nice fire pit outside. It was great for I wasn't sure if Jack would enjoy, well, if there'd be much for him to do staying here, but actually there was loads. They had a big tree house in the back and they had zip wires and the grounds were just fab. It was very memorable. We really enjoyed staying here. So Jack took a photo of me outside the castle. This is us parked outside. There's a few dogs up in the trees. Oh, and Jack's first tooth came out. Zip wire, and there was a few kids there too. So anyway, this was the next part. This might have been Ballaghan Point because I had to paddle down to um there's the train to Dublin. I remember seeing that when I was out paddleboarding and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm getting really actually now getting close to Dublin now. There's the train. So yeah, this part took me by surprise. I hadn't really you look at the map and then you're like checking the weather and everything, and I kind of forgot about this. So this was me. I'd gone past this was where the River Boyne is. And this is the entrance of the where the Boyne meets the sea. And the sea had been quite choppy that day. And then when I got to this part, it just went all totally nuts. And like the mouth of the river is when the water's coming out and it's hitting the sea, and it can just make these waves sort of spike up. And it was pretty tricky getting across. So I didn't take any pictures because I didn't want to take my camera out whenever I was paddling across, but you can see I'm coming up to it here. This is the mouth of the Boyne. And this is where I came in. This is Clocker Head. Here we go. What a day. I got in at Balbriggan, and it was okay. Choppy, but waves coming, kind of giving me a little bit of a push with I had 1 hour with the current going the right direction, unfortunately. My knee pad, because I was kneading the whole time, and did okay up to about Bettystown, and then after that, the wind must have turned more onshore, and it was just very um, challenging because it was like side-on waves, basically. So you're holding on, trying not to fall in, and then I had to go past the mouth of the river, which was very like bigger waves, and I didn't think I was going to fall in. Thankfully, it was just a short mouth, and now I'm just trying to find Richard. I just got as far as here, and I really hoped to have got to Clocker Head, which is that headland up there. That's kind of where I wanted to get to today. But because of the conditions and against the tide and the wind and everything, I was just like, oh, just get me out of here. So I'm actually not sure exactly where I am. I think it looks like I'm very close to Seapoint or Fecken on my Google map. So I'm going to go in and ask, and hopefully I just have to carry this board. After paddling since 2 o'clock, it's now 5:45. Like 4 hours, I have to carry the board up here, try and find someone to get home. Anyway, another chunk done on the route to Dublin, although we did backtrack from Balbriggan today to around Fecken. Hopefully, want to get from Fecken back into Dundalk to Blackrock, which is where I finished last time. All right, nearly there. Bye. Joining the dots. That's it. So heading back along the coast. And thankfully, it didn't take long to find them. I don't have to carry the board too long. And this is where they were parked. So got out here, Sea Point Beach. Anyway, that was me on my lift. So here we are at Sea Point, about to head into the sea. Got my knee pads, gloves on today. Just went to the Coast Guard. Conditions look quite good. Oh, it's sunny, and hoping to get around Clocker Head today, and then Denani Point, and into Dundalk Bay. I'd love to get to Blackrock if possible, but that's looking like a very favourable 5-hour paddle. But I don't know how favourable it's going to be when I'm out there. But anyway, wish me luck. Can't wait to get this bit over and done with. But anyway, my online support have been a great support. They're over here, Richard and Jack, and they're going to be hanging around and watching me as I go around. So anyway, thank you. Bye. Yes, because we were staying in the castle, but it was still like I think it was about at least an hour and a half drive to get here. And you know, for this trip, I'd been doing it in reverse because of the wind direction, and I'd been hoping to get, from Carlingford down to Balbriggan, where the wind was going the other way. So I was coming back up from Balbriggan, making my way back up to where I'd finished off in Carlingford. So yeah, and I actually think that morning the Clocker Head, I was supposed to get around Clocker Head. I think it was around about then when I remember speaking to the Coast Guard, and they said that it had been foggy one of the mornings and 3 kayakers had gone missing. And I did actually see the big rescue helicopter coming out that day. Anyway, I think that's Clocker Head. It's not totally flat, as you can see, but there was sometimes you'd turn a corner and it got really flat, I think, just as I was coming around Clocker Head. And then I saw these kayakers and I just kind of tailed along behind them. It was just nice to have a bit of company. I was just chatting to them. It's a group of men who were paddling part of my route. So this was nice because with the company of them, I had I felt a bit braver and I was able to cut a couple of corners out where normally I would really hug into the coast because I'm by myself. I was with them and I'd been with them for part of the journey and then they'd stopped. They weren't going right into Dundalk Bay, which is what I was doing. I was trying to get back to Blackrock, and now around here the wind picked right up, and I sort of thought, oh, I'm not going to be able to do it. So I think I pulled in here anyway to have a rest. I was hoping just to get Richard to come and get me, but I think in the end I had to go back in and just do the whole thing. But anyway. So I pulled in just in front of Amagassan, just as the wind was picking up. And when I had looked at the wind forecast, it did look like there was going to be quite strong gusts. And I thought it's probably intuitively a good time to get out. So anyway, he's at Abagas, so it's just around the corner. He's coming around here to get me. But this looks like a nice little place. There's a lot of people swimming around here as well, which is always nice and reassuring. And I had a nice group of kayakers I paddled kind of along with, which was always reassuring when I was going round Clocker Head. Not to them at Clocker Head. There's actually one guy at paddleboarding with just a bare chest, which was quite brave because it was very choppy. And then so it was nice seeing the kayakers, and then I followed the kayakers right round Cloggerhead, Denani Point, and then pulled in around here. So this is Dundalk Bay. Not too long now to go. Black box over there, I think. So I've got to just do that tomorrow. I think it'll be best whenever the wind's coming along a little bit. Yay. And then that means I have done this whole section, and then all that's left will be Balbriggan to Dublin. Yeah, pretty much there already, so I'm really delighted. Anyway, big thanks to my online support. I think Jack's having a meltdown, and Richard's probably had enough by now anyway, but thanks to them too. They're superstars. Yay. Right. Lots of jellyfish today as well. That was the other thing. I was a bit off-putting. Kept thinking like a jellyfish was going to get washed onto my board. But thankfully I did get quite a bit. Timed it well today, tide and swell, so it's good. All right, anyway, tired now. I just paddled since now almost 2 and I got in at 10:30, so over 3 hours. So that's good. Yesterday was 4 hours, so I'm tired, ready for a rest. Thank you. Bye. Please sponsor me, by the way, RNLI. I'm raising funds for RNLI, and I have just given a page, Jennifer Greenlee's long distance paddle, Belfast to Dublin. So it was hard because there's Jack. There I am. There's a lot of driving for Jack, especially on this trip because we were staying in this lovely castle. But to get to all these places, like down to Balbriggan, it's a lot of driving, and for a small child, I think he was getting fed up. There he is drinking my thirsty work waiting for me. There he is drinking. That was the last of my drink that I had. Anyway, I ended up getting back in the sea and paddling, and this is you can see how choppy it's got, but I ended up paddling right back to Blackrock just to get it over and done with, because again, it's a whole extra trip the next day to get back down here, I think. So I just did it. And you can see that there's kite surfers out. That's never a good sign. You can see the waves and everything. It was choppy. It was also quite hard going because it was quite shallow because we've got these like sort of mud banks and loads of jellyfish. But that was me coming in. And this is Blackrock Beach. I think I'd gone in here, this slipway here. So yeah, I think everyone on the beach thought I was suitably crazy. So here I am, Blackrock Beach. I did it. I am totally wrecked. But that wasn't bad. From 10:30 this morning to 4:30 paddleboarding. As you can see behind me, it's got quite windy and it's got really choppy, so I was just really glad to get in. But this is where it's just that whole leg finished from Blackrock Beach down to Balbriggan done. Yeah, I think they were glad that I was finished too. There's the kite surfers just jumping off his board here. This is Dundalk Blackrock Beach, and this is us heading back to the castle on the ferry. With high security, with our security guys with us. That's the car. It was lovely. It was just not, I think, just sense of relief knowing that I'd got all of that done. Now I can relax. It's that was the Balbriggan bit to This is Carlingford. That was that all done, and just meant I could relax now and enjoy a bit of a break. And it's lovely. It's very scenic. Carlingford's gorgeous. Pretty much the border between the north and the south is around here. And there, where we were staying there, that was really magical. Right, playing outside in the grounds. It's lovely weather too. It's very nice. And this is Narrow Waters, this is the river. There's a wee castle there. Explored that Narrow Water Castle. It's me. So this looks like we've reached the last leg. Yeah. So this is the next weekend that we came away. This is Howth. So actually, again, with the wind, I was having to paddle back. So I was hoping to finish at Howth. I'm actually starting from Howth and I'm going to paddle right back up to where I had finished last time at Balbriggan. And this was an early morning start, sunrise. You can see the sky's pink. Good morning. A little bit nervous, but this is the last part of my paddle to Dublin. Well, I did get to Dublin on the last paddle, but wanted to get the whole way to Howth. So I'm at Howth at the minute. Beautiful morning, sun's just coming up at 7:30 and it looks nice and calm, but this is the harbour. So I've been doing all my calculations, so I'm just going to set off from here. My end destination was Balbriggan. I might have to break it into two sections today because of the tide, but that's the aim, is to get the last set, which is Balbriggan to Howth, but I'll be doing it in reverse, finished today, and that'll be my 100-mile challenge finished. Hurrah! Anyway, wish me luck. Bye. So, we'd got there, we booked the Airbnb in Howth, and I was just trying to pick the best time to do this part. But the weather wasn't great, so I think I had to do it all in one day. So, but it was a beautiful start, lovely morning. I took the park down at Howth and left the car there, and then Richard and Jack would come down in an hour or two once I'd paddled along the coast, and then they would come up and catch up with me. So this is coming out of Howth Harbour. Lots of lovely islands paddling along here. So there's some of the islands, there's the Skerries, Rush. Here we are. It's actually turned really nice now this morning. Coming into here we are, coming into Rush Harbour here. I am so relieved. Get to chill out for a bit and then rest for a little while and get on with the next part. Because of the tide was turning, I pulled in here to take a break, and this is Rush. Here I am. Shoulders are pretty tired, but coming into Rush Harbour now. It's just over here. So I'm over halfway. I'm going to get out for a rest and then drive to Balbriggan and then come back down here. Just with the tides and everything this weekend, it's a bit patchy, but we'll get a little rest now and then get it all finished soon enough. All right, I'll keep you posted. Bye. It's nice getting out and having a bit of a rest. And this was Rush Harbour, so I'm just sitting around here really waiting for Richard and Jack to arrive. Here I am. I'm so glad to stop paddling because it was literally one-sided the whole way for the last 3 hours. This side, oh. So taking a little break because the tide has turned now, so I'd be paddling against the tide, which is a bit pointless. Takes twice as long. So yeah, so there, that's right. I remember that day, it was literally the wind was in one direction and I had to paddle on one side the whole time, which is so repetitive, like 3 hours of just one-sided paddling. So here I am at Rush Harbour, having a rest. I paddled from Howth this morning, which was at 7:30, and it's now after 11, so probably have 7, 8, 9, 10. But 3.5 hours of paddling, and it was all one-sided because the wind was pushing me from this side. So I was all like this, like, so the shoulders just really tired. So the good thing is, though, hopefully I'm taking a little rest now, got a break, and then my on-land fabulous support team are going to come and pick me up and take me to Balbriggan, and that's where I finished up last time. Then I'm going to get in at Balbriggan and paddle. Hopefully it's just another hour and a half or something like that on the other shoulder, I'm hoping, and then I'll finish up here, and then that will have been that whole bit done, which was Balbriggan to Howth. Just mix it up a bit because of the conditions. I've only got today this weekend because it's too stormy tomorrow, and it was too stormy yesterday. Monday was looking okay, but it's sort of high wind, so trying to get it all done in one day. So here's hoping tomorrow about 6 hours of paddling today. Anyway, last bit. So I'm really glad. I'll keep you posted. Bye. No, it's so exciting just to think that I was going to have it done. So this was where I was paddling. I'm going to have to paddle back to Rush from Balbriggan, I think. And this is actually, it was really nice because I had my break and then I came down to see and it looked lovely. Hi guys, so here I am at Balbriggan. Over here behind me is Balbriggan Harbour, and there's just a little slipway over here is the car, and I am just going to get in here to do the last leg, and it looks good, say, looks like smooth blue seas. which is fab. The wind has dropped down. Hopefully the current's going to drive me that way. And I'm now, the Skerries are over there in the distance. I'm going to head past the Skerries and finish up at Rush. And hopefully I'll be paddling more equally on both sides because the last bit was all one-sided for 3.5 hours on my left side. So it's kind of tired now. So looking forward to, well, not really looking forward to it. I've got 2 hours of paddling ahead of me. So I'm looking forward to getting it finished, to be honest. Anyway, this is me getting in. Here's my support team down here. Big thanks to them. And really excited to get this all finished. Bye. Thanks for supporting me. All proceeds go to RNLI. Thanks. Bye. This was literally the last leg of my Dublin, Belfast to Dublin trip. And there's, you can see the Skerries out there. So I was so pleased. And look how calm and flat it is. Perfect. It's me setting off. The sunshine, got my sunblock on. There I am, paddling past. These are Skerries. Yeah. And that's them waving me in. So this is where I'd finish off at Rush, getting out. Yay. So here I am, just finished. Yay. It's just so tired. I actually feel it hard to celebrate because celebrate later when I get some nice food and a glass of wine. But here I am at Rush. So I stopped here. It's low tide now, but I stopped here this morning. Well, this morning I got up at Howth, started in Howth, 7:30, paddled here, got here at 11, got out just after 11, 20 past 11, something like that. Then I had a break for about an hour and a half or something, which was fantastic because my left shoulder was really sore because I was just paddling on one side really the whole way from Howth for like 3 and a bit hours. And then it was a nice rest. Then drove up to Balbriggan, which is where I'd finished off in the last paddle, and then paddled down about 2 hours back to Rush. So that completes my last section of my 100-mile paddle to Dublin. Yay! I am so happy that it's finished and I can take a rest now and not feel like I need to be getting something done. And I just want to say a big thank you to my on-land support team, which are here in the car behind me. They have been fantastic and super patient with all of my adventures. So I'm so glad I've got it done now. So yay, thank you. And thanks for sponsoring me, everyone that sponsored me. And it's still plenty of time. All proceeds go into the RNLI. Thank you. Yeah, and so this was us just doing a few of the sites. So Malahide Castle's here, but I both had paddled past this. And we went back here for lunch, something like that. Malahide Castle. That was the Howth in the morning. When I was setting off, that was me coming in at Rush. And this was the wee apartment that we were staying in, Airbnb in Howth. And this is Howth Harbour. We went back down probably the next day when I was relaxing, taking it in. Howth Lighthouse is on around the corner from here. And this is Howth Harbour. It was a windier day. That was the following day. These are the islands behind me. And yeah, it was like I just remember standing there and looking back up the coast and thinking, oh my gosh, I've literally paddled the whole way from Belfast to Dublin. You know, thinking about all of those parts that I'd done, you know, the Ards Peninsula that had been really slow, but that was me getting going again after having Jack and just sort of building up my strength. And then got to Strangford, got that crossing done, which was a huge hurdle. And then on down to Newcastle and then Carlingford, which meant I'd done all of Northern Ireland then. And then paddling from Carlingford down the coast and into Howth. So yeah, when you're standing there looking back up at what you've done, it's still you have a massive sense of achievement. That's Howth Harbour. Celebrating. Beautiful harbour and beautiful restaurants. We did go and have some nice food. Amazing seafood in Howth. It's renowned for it. We went into this place. I really liked it in here. It was quite casual and it was but a lot of character to it. And parts of the pub and restaurant and a big bowl of mussels. And so that was it. And I got a bit more press coverage. This was a lovely one from the Sunday Life and Irish News interview with Gail Bell, which was wonderful. And this is the writ. So that's what I did. Belfast down to here, crossing here. In the middle of that, I'd gone up here to do this fundraiser as well, which was this North Coast, and then back in and then on down. So I had done a lot and into Dublin or Howth. So the first paddle I ever did was from Bangor down to, that was 75 miles over 3 days, a fundraiser for my cousin Ailish. Then I started this fundraiser down here towards Dublin, which was for the RNLI. And in the middle of that, I did this fundraiser across the top for my friend Ailish, who had cancer as well. So at this point, I'd done all of this, so all of Northern Ireland and down to Dublin. So I was very pleased with that. So yeah, so that was that. And took a break here and just a well-deserved rest, I think, for myself and my crew. So big thank you to Richard and Jack for coming with me, and we really enjoyed. Like you saw, stayed in some nice places and got to see the coast, learning new parts of Ireland that I hadn't been to before. So it was really lovely. Anyway, thanks for watching.